On that day, a young cub was taken from the battlefield. He trained relentlessly and indeed went on to become a master shinobi.
Shadows may die twice, but controllers can only break once, and Sekiro has broken many. And it's also the reason why this game is so loved around the world by the hardcore player community. It's now been 5 years since the release of this epic From Software masterpiece. So let's take a little bit of a look back and see what made this such an amazing experience. Sekiro takes place in the Sengoku period of Japan, giving players something very different than the dark dungeon castle experience of Dark Souls. You are a shinobi known as the Wolf, and it is your mission to protect and rescue the divine heir, a young kid with mystical abilities tied to the dragon's blood that can bring people back to life. And because you are his shinobi, he has granted you this specific ability. And it's your job to try and rescue him and protect him from those that want his power for themselves, such as Genichiro.
Behold the lightning of Tomorrow.
The world of Sekiro is one of From Software's best visual experience to date. Now personally, I think Bloodborne is still the king of what From Software has done in terms of visuals and design, but Sekiro is right up there in the top 3. It's beautiful. From the fallen red leaves to these beautiful ancient Japanese temples with pools of water and cherry blossoms falling from the sky. And as you're wandering through the main area of the world, it's snow covered, and you have this beautiful view of the mountains in the background as the sun is setting over them. It's just stunning to look at. But of course, as with every From Software game, there has to be a poison level. And along with the poison level, it has those dark areas of the game that give you that supernatural horror experience that you've come to expect from Software. And of course, as with any game that they make, the combat system is king. Now this one is very different from Dark Souls. In Dark Souls, you level up, you upgrade your weapons, and you build up your defenses. You have magic, and you have many tools at your disposal. But in Sekiro, it comes down to your skill at parrying and dodging moves. It is not easy. It is much harder than the Souls games in my opinion, but it is very fun, and when things go right and you get into this sequence of fighting 3 or 4 enemies at a time, and you block it, hit them with a killing blow, and just go from one enemy to the other, it feels absolutely incredible. And it's one of those moments in the game where you're like, I can't believe I just pulled that off. One of the unique aspects of the game is Sekiro's prosthetic arm. It has various attachments like shurikens, an axe, grappling hook. The grappling hook allows you to take to the rooftops and be able to drop down on top of your enemies, or use it to go across branches for certain areas of the game. It can even be used in combat against certain enemies. Something like the axe attachment is used to break shields so you can hit an enemy with a final blow. Fire is very useful against some enemies. Firecrackers are great weapons against animals. It startles them, allowing you to get in some attacks before they hit you. Now there is one effect in the game that I absolutely hate, and that's the terror status. It's every bit as bad as getting petrified in Dark Souls. It's just instant death, and it drives me crazy when you're fighting the headless enemies. Now, as time has gone on in these last 5 years, they have made adjustments to the game through patches, and it actually made some areas of the game harder, while also making some areas a bit easier. But from my own personal experience, when I first bought the game, it felt much easier to me than it does now. It's a very frustrating game at times. But then, all of a sudden, the part you were struggling with so much, you end up beating it easier than it should have ever been, which makes no sense, but that is how this game works. And if you want to watch somebody do something amazing, check out speedrunners that play this game, or the people that go through it and don't take any damage. It's absolutely incredible to watch masters of this game play it. I'm definitely not one of them. Luckily, I've been able to save my controllers just by hitting the power button. And I've had to several times trying to get clips for this game and playing it again. So, if you've never played Sekiro before, or you want to give it a shot and you have the newer systems like PS5 and Series X, that's the way to try it on console, because it runs better. The Series X does have some drops, but it's because it runs at a higher resolution than the PS5 version. But the VRR does smooth things out, so it's not really an issue. If you're a fan of Sekiro, let me know down in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later.